Hi. Today we are going to be rationalizing the denominator. That means that we want to cancel out the radical from the denominator. Right? So for example, I have 5 over the square root of 6. Right? So I need to multiply that denominator times something that I can cancel out that denominator, right? Or that radical, not the denominator. I could have something on the denominator, but I want to cancel out the radical. So for example, in this exercise, I'm going to multiply the denominator and the numerator, right? So I can keep that equivalent by the square root of 6, right? Why of the square root of 6? We're going to see it right now, right? So now I have the square root of 6 times the square root of 6 is the square root of 36. So that means that I can simplify that to 5 square root of 6 divided by 6. And that's it. I cannot simplify those to 6 because I have the square root of 6 up here and this is 6 is outside. So that means that my rationalization of this exercise is 5 square root of 6 divided by 6. Right? So what happens when I have a different index right here, for example, a 3, right? If I just multiply this times the square root of 5 or the cubic root of 5, that means that I'm going to have 4 cubic root of 5 divided by the cubic root of 25. And as you can see right here, I cannot simplify that anymore. That's it, right? So I would have to multiply it again times something so I can cancel it out. So that means that from the beginning, we can multiply by something else. So I just need to complete that exponent. So this is 1 to the 4th, right? And I need to complete the exponent 3. So that means that I have to multiply times 5 squared. So this is the same as 4. And the cubic root, let me rewrite that. And the cubic root of 25, right? Because 5 squared is 25. And now I have the cubic root of 5 cubed. 5 cubed, right? So that means that I have 4, the cubic root of 25, divided by just 5, right? Because the cubic root of 5 cubed is just 5, right? Okay. So again, on the next exercise, I have the square root of 8x. So that means that I have the square root. This one is easy. There's two things that you should check. First one is that I cannot simplify inside of the radical. That should be always the first thing that you should do. Check if you can simplify. In this case, I cannot simplify, right? So in this case, I'm just going to multiply. But first of all, I cannot simplify the division, but I can simplify that square root on the denominator. It's going to be easier for you to simplify now. And this is 4 times 2 is 8. So that means that the square root of 4, let me write, right? So the square root of 4 is 2. And I have the square root of 2x. Now, to rationalize that denominator, I'm just going to multiply times the square root. I'm not using that 2, right? So that means that I have the square root of 10x divided by 2 and the square root of 4x squared. Right, so this is the square root of 10x divided by 2 times 2, absolute value of x. So when I simplify this, then x divided by 4x. That's it. Pretty easy, right? Okay. So on the next one, again, I have a cubic root. Again, a cubic root. I cannot simplify, so in this case, I'm going to multiply, and again, I'm completing. Okay, so this is the cubic root of 5 squared times y. Again, 5 squared times y. I'm completing that exponent, right? So if I had this exponent 1 right here, plus 2 of the 5 squared, that means that on the denominator, let me rewrite this. This is 175 x times y, right? Remember that 5 squared is 25, and 25 times 7 is 175 divided by. Now, when I we write that denominator, I'm going to have 5 cubed times y cubed. Right? So this is cube 175 xy divided by 5y. That's it. Okay. But what happens when I have a radical right here and I have an binomial or expression, or I'm adding or subtracting something? Right? If I just multiply times the square root of 3, I have to distribute right there, and I'm going to have the square root 6 square root of 3 plus so on. I cannot cancel it out, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply times the conjugate pair of that binomial. So 6 plus the square root of 3 times 6 minus the square root of 3, and we're going to see right now why. When I multiply, I have 66 minus 11 square root of 3. And I have 36, right? I'm foiling it. So 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times negative square root of 3 is 6 square root of 3. Square root of 3 times 6, so 6 square root of 3 minus the square root of 9. And as you can see, I can cancel out those two right there. So that means that I have 66 minus 11 square root of 3 divided by 36 minus 3. Square root of 9 is 3. So that's 66 minus 11 square root of 3 divided by 33. And my last step here is that I'm going to simplify everything by 11. And that's it. Right, so again, I have the square root of 3 minus the square root of 5. I can multiply that times the conjugate pair. So this is 2 square root of 21 plus 2 square root of 35 divided by, when I'm multiplying times the conjugate pairs, this is with any type of conjugate pairs, it's going to be the first one square minus the second one square, right? If we FOIL, we're going to see that middle terms are going to cancel out. So this is 2 square root of 21 plus 2 square root of 36, 9 minus 5. So this is the same as 2 square root of 21 plus 2 square root of 36 divided by negative 2. So when I simplify everything, negative square root of 21 minus the square root of 36. As you can see, I'm simplifying everything by negative 2. Okay. So the next one, again, conjugate pairs is 3 plus the square root of 6. 3 plus the square root of 6. 12x plus 4x square root of 6 divided by, again, using the method on the last exercise, is the first one square minus the second one square. Okay, so 12x plus 4x square root of 6 divided by 9 minus 6. So this is the same as 12x plus 4x square root of 6 divided by 3. And that's it. I cannot simplify that 12 and that 3, right? Because on my numerator, I have 12x plus 4x square root of 6. So I cannot simplify those two.